A very good evening. You're watching Primetime News on TV1. I'm Michaela Fernando.
And I'm Parvati Kumar Singh. Let's start off with taking a look at your headlines.
National Election Commission issues final warning to state media. Sajith Premadasa responds to the media briefing convened by Gotabaya Rajapaksa.
මේ රටේ රණවිරු ආරක්ෂා කරන පුද්ගලෙක් නම් කිසිම දවසක කියන්නේ අපෝ මම නෙවෙයි මේකට වග කියන්නේ කෝල පාස් කරන්න නෑ මිත්‍රවරුනි.
Gotabaya Rajapaksa says he has a team that can implement a practical process.
ප්‍රායෝගික සැලැස්මක් හොඳ දර්ශනයක් ක්‍රියාත්මක කරන්නට හැකි කණ්ඩායමක් ඉන්නවා.
The Jatika Sangvidhana Sammelana requests for a new group in parliament to implement Gotabaya Rajapaksa's plan. Naveen Bandara assures a journey with a cabinet without rogues. Warning from Veerakumara Disanayaka.
මේ රටට ආදරය කරන මිනිස්සු ගහයි. ඌ කියන අයට මෙතනින් යන්න. හරි? අතපය ගලවලා දායි බිම ඉඳගෙන.
Taking a look at your top story, Chairman of the National Elections Commission, Mahinda Deshapriya, stressed on the role of the media during presidential campaigns.
This is the final notification I make to state media. No announcements will be made hereafter. The necessary action will be taken. I request private media institutions not to provide what the people ask for if you are truly the media of the people. I know everyone cannot attend to this 100%, but try to adhere to it to the best of your ability. Citizens attached to the civil society organizations have told us that they would sue us and the media institutions if we don't control those institutions. We told them that we will not object that. There is a possibility that the civil society organizations might sue us. If that comes to light, we will be in support of their stance. If that happens, we will take a decision to only allow the TV and the radio stations who will adhere to this to report the news. Because it will be troublesome if you turn your back on us when we work in a friendly manner. I would like to remind all the state officials and the police officers not to do politics while doing your duties. Do not misuse state property. If you do, I just have to say that God's wheel will be turning no matter what. Even though it turns slow, at the opportune time it will crush everything that deserves to be crushed to dust. Only the intelligence units can decide whether to provide security or not upon the request of the candidates. If information surfaces that a particular candidate has a massive threat, we will allow that. The IGP requested us to allow that to 4 candidates and we did. It is not a problem. No actions can be taken under the Elections Act. Under the first command of the Constitution, people can be arrested for 3 years with a fine of 100,000 rupees. Cases cannot be directly filed against other institutions. We have drawn our attention whether we can do something through the licensing authority. I personally do not believe that it has to be done in a punishing manner. Even the Commission believes that we should deal with this through discussion, convention and agreement. Democracy is not something you could accomplish by drawing your sword. The right to vote is at your discretion. That cannot be forced by threatening to draw swords, to stab or threatening to put in jail.
Questions were posted about a campaign of a presidential candidate by quoting a statement of the army commander.
We received that complaint on Sunday. We are deeply sad about that advertisement. We have informed that it was wrong to the election agent, to the secretary of that party and the politician who is in charge of the operational affairs of the election of the relevant candidate. Also, we have informed the secretary to the president and the secretary of defense to provide an explanation on this. It might be an old statement, but it is a saddening matter to have used the formal name and the designation of the current commander of the Sri Lanka army in this case. We have made it clear in public that we will not adhere to any corrupt political culture. We think that the commander will issue a statement regarding this. If not, we might have to assume that this was done with his consent. We have discussed with the political parties that winning the war and acts of heroism cannot be owned by one party. Many public rallies in line with the presidential elections were held in several parts of the island today in support of the presidential candidate of the New Democratic Front, Sajith Premadasa.
The first of the rallies was held in Ridigama, Donamgas, Landa. Presidential candidate Sajith Premadasa was afforded a warm welcome by those who were present at the rally.
They imprisoned the man who ended the 30-year war. They handcuffed him and made him wear prison overalls. What was the reason for that? Because he contested at the presidential election. They incarcerated him in a dark room. He had to sleep on a mat. He still has bomb shrapnels in his body. When he feels those shrapnels within him, he feels an unimaginable sorrow. What those so-called patriots committed back then was an unforgivable sin. We do not need to duplicate heroes or leaders when we have real heroes. My opponent has created a record as the only person to have dismissed military officers with a single signature within 24 hours. They imprisoned the hero who saved our nation. You might understand now as to why he does not face the media much. Yesterday, he accepted my challenge and faced the media, and as soon as that happened, all was exposed. A person who is committed to protect war heroes of this country will never say he will not accept responsibility. He will never say his brother is not responsible and that the commander of the army is responsible. He would never play the blame game. When they questioned him regarding the event which occurred towards the end of the war, he played the blame game and passed it on to Sarath Fonseca. He decided that neither him nor his brother would get involved in situations which are detrimental to them, and he blamed it on the former army commander. If this is how the person who is a presidential hopeful answers when he is questioned regarding events which transpired on the battlefield, imagine how he would sell our country to foreign entities for his own benefit.
මෙහෙම කතා කරනවා නම් කොයි විදියට අපේ මාතෘ භූමිය පිට රටවල් වලට විකුණයිද තමන් වෙනුවෙන්. එතුමාගෙන් ප්‍රශ්න කරනකොට
All he could do when he was being questioned was to seek assistance from those around him. If you are to provide leadership to a nation, you cannot seek assistance from everywhere. The state's leader should be prepared to directly answer any question that is posed to him. He lied and spoke regarding the electric chair. My opponent has sent many war heroes to the electric chair in front of state media and international media. Premadasas do not have cowardice, opportunism and backstabbing in their blood. When Sajith Premadasa wins, I will not carry out a two-faced leadership. I will create a leadership which is centered around bravery.
Another rally was organized in Variapula earlier today. Meanwhile, presidential candidate of the Sri Lanka Podujana Peramuna, Gotabaya Rajapaksa, addressed several public rallies today.
Representatives of parties supporting the SLPP, civil organizations and party members attended the public rally that was held at the Balangoda Urban Council grounds this morning. This was how presidential candidate Gotabaya Rajapaksa was welcomed to the public rally. We can increase the sale of tea overseas if we increase the production here. We can only solve this problem if we increase the quality of tea. We have to be the country that produces the best tea in the world again. We know that we definitely have to increase the estate workers' wage to 1,000 rupees. Many massive factories have been closed down now. We will provide compensation and tax relief to reopen these factories. We will stop the importation of pepper and re-exporting it.
පිටරටින් ගෙන්නලා නැවත ප්‍රතිඅප්නායනය කරන මේ ගම්මිරිස් අපි නවත්තනවායි කියන එක තමුන්නාන්සලාට මේ අවස්ථාවේදී ප්‍රකාශ කරනවා.
We will create a center called the One-Stop Shop to solve all issues pertaining to the gem industry in one place. We will also make it easy for you to obtain licenses. As a government, we will maintain a flexible tax policy. We will also reduce the tax to 8%. We have proved what we can do. So, the plan that we have is a practical one. We have a good vision, and I have a team that can implement the plan we have drafted. I am ready to give leadership to that. Another rally in Palmadulla was presided over by presidential candidate of the SLPP, Gotabaya Rajapaksa.
මගෙන් ජනතාව ඉල්ලන්නේ මාත්‍යෝ ආරක්ෂිත රටක් අපේ රට ආරක්ෂා කරලා දෙන්න කියලා. එදා
People are asking for a secured country. We will implement our system again and hand over power to intelligence units they once lost legally. We will make this country safe again. You know that some of those who are here to mine are facing difficulties. We will make the system of providing licenses to you a flexible one. We will make Ratnapura the gem center under our new government. Have faith in me. I will make this country a safe place to live.
තමුන්නාන්සේලාගේ විශ්වාසය මා කෙරෙහි තබන්න, තමුන්නාන්සේලාගේ යුතුයකම තමුන්නාන්සේලා ඉටු කරන්න, මගේ යුතුයකම වන සුරක්ෂිත සෞභාග්‍යමත් රටක් මන් තමුන්නාන්සේලාට ලබා දෙනවා.
Gotabaya Rajapaksa recalled a past incident when he addressed the tea factory owners last evening. When the war was escalating in 2007, rice was scarce in the country. I remember how the president sent ministers all over the world. They were sent to Vietnam, they were sent to Burma. People then said they can't consume that type of rice that was brought to the country. This was a huge issue.
Here's a look at what you can expect later on in the bulletin.
What will happen to those who jeer and hoot?
තමන්ගේ ළඟ ඉඳගෙන හුවක් කියනවා නම් ඒ හුව කියන කෙනාව එතනින්ම පාත් කරගන්න. මේ රටට ආදරය කරන මිනිහෙක් ඉන්නවා ඒ හුව කියන කෙනා එතනින්ම ඔබන්න පල්ලෙහාට.
A media briefing was organised by the parties that are extending their support to the SLPP. Views were expressed here regarding the media conference that was organised by SLPP presidential candidate Gotabaya Rajapaksa yesterday.
There have been various media reports under distorted headlines of matters that were spoken yesterday. If someone wants to question Gotabaya Rajapaksa, they can question his ideologies.
ඔහුගේ මතවාදය ප්‍රශ්න කරන්න.
එතුමා කරපු ප්‍රකාශය තමයි එතුමා නෙමෙයි යුද හමුදාවට නායකත්වය දුන්නේ කියලා කතාව. එතකොට දැන් මෙතෙන්දී ඔබතුමාලට තියෙන චෝදනාව තමයි ඔබතුමාලට වාසියක් වෙනකොට ඔබතුමාලා තමයි නායකත්වය ලබා දුන්නේ. අවාස්ථාගත තත්වයකදී ඔබතුමාලා නෙමෙයි කියලා එම් කාරණාවෙන් බැහැර වෙන තත්වය.
මෙන්න මේක පටලවා ගන්න එපා.
Do not mix this up. Neither Mahinda Rajapaksa nor Gotabaya Rajapaksa provided leadership to the army. Mahinda Rajapaksa provided leadership to the war. So did Gotabaya Rajapaksa. Sarath Fonseca provided leadership to the army, Karan Nagoda to the navy, and Roshan Gunatilaka to the air force. Is this not how it happened?
ඉතින් ඒ උත්තරේ නෙමෙයිද දෙන්න ඕනේ.
එතුමා දිනපු ගමන් රනිල් වික්‍රමසිංහ මහත්මයාව අයින් කළා මහින්ද රාජපක්ෂ මහත්තයා පත් වෙනවාද එහෙම කරන්න පුළුවන්ද?
19 වෙනි සංශෝධනය යටතේ අග්‍රාමාත්‍යවරයා කැබිනට් මණ්ඩලයේ ඉවත් වන ආකාරය පිළිබඳ පැහැදිලි සඳහන්
First request will be asking Ranil Wickremesinghe to resign from his position.
අපි ඉල්ලාස් වෙන කියලා කියන එල්ලීම.
ලොකු ප්‍රශ්නයක් ඇති වෙන්නේ නැහැ ජනතා තීන්දුවත් එක්ක සියල්ල වෙනස් වෙනවා. සුබවාදීව හිතන්න. වැඩි ව්‍යවස්ථා කියවන්න යන්න එපා ඔළුව කරගෙනවා.
The papers read today that there will be 40 odd organisers that will join Sajith Premadasa. I would like to state that a group of organisers that we have removed from the party have created a group called the Movement to Protect the SLFP. They are leaning towards the UNP. If they want to protect the SLFP, they should be in the SLFP. I would like to very clearly state that the journey we are on will continue. We will make the maximum possible sacrifices needed to protect our identity. We will contest the upcoming election under the symbol of the chair.
ඒ වගේම අපි ඉදිරියේ මහමැතිවරණය සඳහා තරඟ කරන්නේ පුටුව ලකුණින්.
In more political news, a group including an SLFP electorate organizer pledged their support to the presidential candidate of the New Democratic Front, Sajith Premadasa.
During the public rally in Nikavarati today, a group of 15 SLFP supporters, including members of local government, pledged their support to Sajith Premadasa. SLFP organizer of the Beruwala electorate, M.M. Amjad, met Tissa Attanayaka today and pledged his support to Sajith Premadasa.
මේ පොහොට්ටුව ලකුණ මම දකින්නේ කෙසෙල් මුවක් කියලා. අම්මා මරාගෙන උපන් කුමාරයා තමයි කෙසෙල් මුව.
To me, the symbol of the SLPP, the flower bud, is like a kehel mua. Sajith Premadasa is the only candidate that can win the election. If we can enter stages and public rallies where people will not hoot, as supporters of the SLFP, our only objective and satisfaction would be to ensure the victory of Sajith Premadasa and his symbol, the swan.
කරන්න පුළුවන් වුව ලැබුණොත් තමයි කියන එක මම මේ අවස්ථාවේදී කියනවා.
Meanwhile, the media spokesperson of the SLFP, Veerakumara Dissanayake, issued a warning today during a media briefing which was held at the party headquarters. We will not rest until Gotabe Rajapaksa is victorious. Everyone should remember that. We made this decision not based on the fact that we will protect the SLFP, but the entire country. We would like to mention this to everyone who attends our rallies. If anyone near you is jeering, make sure you stop them. If there is anyone who loves this country, silence the person who is jeering, then everything will be solved. We are making people aware of this. We cannot help if those who are jeering are attacked by the people who honestly love this country. There are people who are sensitive towards this country. We cannot help it if those people attack those who jeer. So be vigilant when making rude remarks. If any leader is directing them to do those acts, those people will have to treat them when they are attacked. No, there is no such ease. Gotabe Rajapaksa is not a member of the SLFP. We do not have an idea to appoint him as the leader of the party, even if he becomes the president. By the 17th, the acting chairman will be removed and Maithripala Sirisena will be reinstated as the chairman.
Jeering and hooting has become part and parcel of this presidential election campaign. Let's take a look at some views expressed in this regard.
Sri Lanka Nidas Pakshaya.
As one of the 16 individuals who were part of the struggle to take the SLFP out of the SLFP-UNP government, I am happy today. The SLFP together with the SLPP will work towards the victory of Gotabe Rajapaksa.
Sri Lanka Nidas Pakshaya එකතු වෙලා Gotabe Rajapaksa මැතිතුමාගේ ජයග්‍රහණය විජයග්‍රහණය කරන්නට අද අපි සියලු දෙනාට පුළුවන් වෙලා තියෙනවා.
උන් අපි දැක්කයි පෙරේදා රැස්වීමකට සහභාගී වුණාම කොහොමද කටයුතු කරන්න කියලා. ඉස්සල්ලාම ශ්‍රී ලංකා නිදහස් පක්ෂයෙන් වේදිකාවට නගින අයට හූ කියන්න පටන් ගත්තා.
We saw their behavior when they participated in a meeting recently. Firstly, the general public started to hoot when SLFP members got on stage. Afterwards, thugs of the Rajapaksas harassed their own party supporters to control the situation.
තමයි අය මේචල් කරන්න උත්සාහ කරන්නේ.
අපේ කවුරු හරි සමගිය කඩන්න යනවා නම් අපි අපේ පක්ෂවලට කියලා තියෙනවා.
If anyone from our party is attempting to destroy our unity, we propose to take disciplinary action against such individuals. Because in the absence of such discipline, how can we correct and develop our country? These are all conspiracies by a bankrupt government.
මේ සියලු කුමන්ත්‍රණ කරන්න.
ඒක මම දන්නේ නැහැ මම නම් විශ්වාස කරන්නේ එක්සත් ජාතික පක්ෂයයි මේක සංවිධානාත්මක කරනවායි කියන එක.
I will not believe that this was a conspiracy of the UNP. It is clear that this is an internal issue taking place within the SLPP. MPs are criticizing the president. Therefore, even MPs should have some discipline.
සංයමයක් හදා ගැනීම අවශ්‍යයි.
දකලා තියෙනවනේ දැන් එහා හන්දියේ ඉන්න බල්ලා මෙහා හන්දියට ආපුවාම ගොරෝලා කෑ ගහලා දත් විලිස්සලා කන් හපා කාලා ඒ අසීලාචාර බඩු.
We all witnessed how the public hooted at Duminda Dissanayaka. That's not all. Supporters present at the rally are harassed as well. Instead of being humiliated like Duminda Dissanayaka, Tharanath Basnayaka and TB Ekanayaka, I invite the remaining SLFP leaders to come join us. We are prepared to warmly welcome all of them.
පක්ෂයේ අනිකුත් නායකින්ට එන්න අපේ වේදිකාවට අපි මල් මාලා දාලා අපි පිළිගන්නවා කියන එක මේ අවස්ථාවේදී විශේෂයෙන් කියනවා.
The Jatika Sangvidhana Sammelana reiterates that a group that can carry out the programs of Gotabaya Rajapaksa should be elected to parliament.
We are extending our unconditional support to Gotabaya Rajapaksa. This is not for anything else but because he is going to be the executive president. The executive presidency is something that possesses authority. Why else would you have to go through all of this? You have the authority to appoint secretaries. You have the authority to appoint governors. You have the authority to appoint the prime minister. It is not with the parliament. We are not going to abolish this executive presidency. We ask that the 13th or the 19th amendment to the constitution be annulled. We will carry out amendments as well. We will not, however, bring in a new constitution for at least another 10 years. Why do I say this? The current parliament, nor any other parliaments that will be elected in the future, is not prepared to do this. Their psychological state is not at a proper level. We will have to create a different set of parliamentarians. Those parliamentarians could be here as well. Let us find them during the next decade. He said, if this cannot be done with the existing lot, let's do it with a new group. The main responsibility of the national organization should therefore be number 1, to make Gota the king, number 2, to protect him, and number 3, to create a group of MPs who can enact his presidential orders and instructions.
Will the national organizations who supported Gotabaya Rajapaksa's candidacy allow him to appoint a new team? This is what MP Bandula Gunawardena had to say.
If I am no longer useful, what Gotabaya Rajapaksa should do is join hands with someone who can do better. I am on that stance. I suggest that once a government is formed, give ministerial position for just 2 years. Give them a target to achieve. If they fail, and if the people want the minister gone, you can change them after 2.5 years.
In more local news, Deputy Minister of Development Strategies and International Trade Nalin Bandara expressed the following views at the Megamind Intellectual Forum held in Mavathagama yesterday.
Your businesses faced many issues in the recent past. There were issues with high interest rates and many more. But the only thing which can safeguard your business is Sajith Premadasa's new government with new faces. The reason I emphasized the term new faces was that there were unsuitable people for our new clean government. I would like to mention at this moment that we are trying to form this new government excluding them.
අපේ ආණ්ඩුවලත් හිටියා අපි හදන සුපිරිසුදු ආණ්ඩුවට නොගැලපෙන පුද්ගලයෝ. අපි ඒ අය සම්බන්ධ නොකරගෙන ආණ්ඩුව හදන්න තමයි අපි උපරිම උත්සාහ කරන්න කියන එක මේ අවස්ථාවේ මතක් කරන්න කැමතියි.
We are in a dire need of building a new cabinet comprising of clean politicians without any charges of corruption, because at present politicians are considered dispensable. A majority of the youth nowadays are lining up to embark on a new journey. If we follow the steps of archaic politicians instead of branding and aligning our party in line with present trends, we will also be left with nowhere to go.
As the presidential election is coming up, we are still on the political arena. An election rally of the National People's Power Movement was held in Kiribati yesterday.
Presidential candidate Anurakumara Dissanayaka received a warm welcome at this rally that was organized in support of him.
This government conspired a plan to increase the government expenditure. This plan was conspired to increase the state revenue that was 11.5% to 15%. They increased the taxes levied on our businessmen. If the economy remains stagnant, the only way they can increase the state revenue is by imposing taxes repeatedly. The people of this country have to pay large sums of taxes to cover those losses. Lanka was taken over by the government in 2008. It wasn't taken over as a business. When Mahinda Rajapaksa was in England, he had to come back to Sri Lanka on a short notice. At that time, Lanka was under the management of Emirates. The head of Emirates said that the seats cannot be allocated for all of them in the same flight at such a short notice, and that they could only provide seats for Mahinda Rajapaksa and 4 others. They said that the rest of them can fly on another flight. But Mahinda Rajapaksa was in England. He had to come back to Sri Lanka on a short notice. At that time, Lanka was under the management of Emirates. The head of Emirates said that the seats cannot be allocated for all of them in the same flight at such a short notice, and that they could only provide seats for Mahinda Rajapaksa and 4 others. They said that the rest of them can fly on another flight. Mahinda Rajapaksa got angry as a result of this. When he came back to Sri Lanka, he ordered that the CEO be changed. Emirates turned down this request. They said that they wouldn't go and then asked him to take over the company. He took over it. With no economic plan in hand, Air Lanka was taken over from Emirates by that government. This carrier incurred a loss of 142 million rupees, and now this is added to the tax burden of the common man. Now that is the reason for the tax to increase. The state has 270,000 tax files, and the government's policy is to exploit them.
Meanwhile, presidential candidate of the Janasetha Peramuna, Venerable Battaramulle Seelaratna Thera, signed an agreement with Nagananda Kodituwaku today.
Based on the agreement, Nagananda Kodituwaku will be the election representative of the Janasetha Peramuna.
We all know that Nagananda Kodituwaku had a good policy and a constitution. I liked the constitution from the beginning. There is no difference between the constitution he has and the one I drafted. Certain people misled him by promising to give him a chance. But if he had made a request, then I would have given him the chance. I invite all of you to join us. I will hand over all my election activities to him. If we win, we will move forward with his constitution.
අප සමග ඒකරාශී වෙන්න නාගානන්ද මහත්මයාට මම මේ මැතිවරණ කටයුතු සියලු කටයුතු බාර දෙනවා මේ සටනේදී අපි ජයග්‍රහණය කරොත් මේ තුමාගේ මේ විවස්ථාව සමග අපි ඉදිරියට වැඩ කටයුතු කරනවා
මේ කරු ස්වාමීන් වහන්සේගෙන් ඉල්ලීමක් කළා
I made a request from the Venerable Thera. I was prevented from contesting. I told him that the support he extends to me is a service to the entire country. The Thera then decided to represent me from the Janasetha Peramuna.
එහි ප්‍රතිඵලයක් වශයෙන් උන්වහන්සේ තීරණය කළා මේ ජනසෙත පක්ෂයේ පෙරමුණෙන් ඉදිරිපත් වීමට අපේක්ෂකත්වය ලබා දීමට උන්වහන්සේ තීරණය කළා.
The national organizer of the Social Democratic Party of Tamils, Vardaraja Perumal, met with opposition leader Mahinda Rajapaksa today.
Vardaraja Perumal, who is the former Chief Minister of the Northeast, arrived for the meeting this morning with a group representing his party. Several political representatives and party activists from local government bodies also attended this meeting. At the meeting, Vardaraja Perumal had said his party would support Gotabaya Rajapaksa in the upcoming presidential election. Further, at this meeting, Mahinda Rajapaksa had said although he was able to provide a state-of-the-art hospital and school laboratories to the Jaffna district during his tenure, the same has not happened during the tenure of the current government. Rajapaksa has further said that many graduates, farmers and youth residing in the north are facing an uneasy situation since their issues have not been resolved by the government, and that all should unite and create a people-friendly government.
Sri Lankan Airlines adjudged the leading international airline in South Asia for the third consecutive year.
Parliamentarian Namal Rajapaksa attended an election propaganda program in Kilinochchi today.
This public meeting took place as part of a series of village-level meetings which have been organised in support of presidential candidate of the SLPP, Gotabaya Rajapaksa.
The UNP government you elected expecting solutions for your issues has not provided you any solutions for the past 4.5 years. We won't make fake promises like Sambandhan did, saying your issues will be resolved by next Diwali. We will tell you what we can do and cannot do. We do not make one promise to those in the south and another to those in the north. We know the issues which have not been resolved, especially regarding those who have been imprisoned and also those have disappeared, and land issues. We will provide solutions to these issues within a span of 2 years. Still in your political news this evening, former Deputy Minister of Higher Education Mayon Mustafa expressed the following views during a public rally held in Ampara yesterday.
You must have heard of the housing project in Vilpattu and the resettlement that took place. Who supported this resettlement in Vilpattu? It was the government led by Mahinda Rajapaksa, while Basil Rajapaksa provided this land and gave approval for the construction of houses. The university constructed by Hizbullah was entirely supported by the Mahinda Rajapaksa government. There are many lined up to support Mahinda Rajapaksa and Gotabaya Rajapaksa, and they have already formulated plans for economic development in Sri Lanka.
எப்படி அமைய வேண்டும் என்று இன்று பொருளாதார திட்டங்களை தீட்டிக் கொண்டிருக்கின்றார்கள்.
Meanwhile, JVP parliamentarian Dr. Nalinda Jayatissa responded to a statement made by Gotabaya Rajapaksa on releasing imprisoned war heroes in Kalutara.
ජනාධිපති අපේක්ෂකයෙක් වුණාම රටේ ව්‍යවස්ථාව ගැන දැනගන්නට ඕනි. රටේ පවතින නීති ගැන දැනගන්නට ඕන. ඒකට දේශපාලන අත්දැකීමක් ඕන. ඇත්තට මේ අතින් ගත්තොත් ගෝඨාභය රාජපක්ෂ මහත්තයා පව්. මොකද එතුමාට ආරක්ෂක ලේකම්කමේ වැඩ කරන්න ලැබුණේ අධික විධායක බලයක් සහිත ජනාධිපතිනෙක් එක්ක. පාර්ලිමේන්තුවේ තුනේ.
And here's a summary of your headlines for tonight.
National Elections Commission issues final warning to state media. Commission strictly warns about using a statement of the army commander for election propaganda. Sajith Premadasa responds to the media briefing convened by Gotabaya Rajapaksa, reminds of past incident relating to Sarath Fonseca. Gotabaya Rajapaksa says he has a team that can implement a practical process. Nalin Bandara assures a journey with the cabinet without rogues. Warning from Veerakumara Dissanayake to those who jeer and hoot.
Further examination of evidence in the case filed against former Minister Basil Rajapaksa and 3 others for the criminal misappropriation of 2,991 million rupees from the Divinaguma Development Department was fixed for the 7th of November by Colombo High Court Judge Shashi Mahendran. The order was made as High Court Judge R. Gurusingha, who took up the case thus far, had taken a leave today. The Attorney General filed the case under 5 separate indictments for using 2,991 million rupees for the distribution of steel roofing sheets to Divinaguma beneficiaries. And meanwhile, Sri Lankan Airlines was adjudged the leading international airline in South Asia for the 3rd consecutive year at the South Asian Travel Awards 2019 and also bagged the leading airline passenger class business award for the 3rd year running from among airlines in the region. Permission was granted to dispose Colombo's garbage to the Aruwakkalu sanitary landfill site once again. A cry after the Ministry of Megapolis and Western Development decided to suspend accepting Colombo's garbage at the Aruwakkalu sanitary landfill site after Colombo mayoress made a comment to the newspaper referring to the site as a failed project. Cabinet approval has been granted to appoint a committee to transform the Department of Railways to a closed and an inclusive department and to study the proposals of the salary structure of the department. A senior official at the Ministry of Public Administration, Disaster Management and Livestock Development will be chairing the committee. Earlier, Cabinet approval was granted to make the Department of Railways a closed and an inclusive department and to form a suitable salary structure to its official. The committee will implement the proposal made, reduce the practical issues that could emerge and to present the recommendations needed to implement those proposals.
Taking a look at some local news, the Food and Agriculture Organization and the World Food Programme organized an event to commemorate World Food Day 2019.
Taking a look at once again at the JVP parliamentarian Dr. Nalinda Jayatissa, how he responded to a statement made by Gotabaya Rajapaksa on releasing imprisoned war heroes in Kalutara.
When
you are a presidential candidate, you should know about the constitution of the country and the laws of the country. For that, you need political experience. In that sense, we have to pity Gotabaya Rajapaksa because he operated as the Secretary of Defence under a president with immense executive powers and with 2/3 majority of parliament. The word of mouth was the law those days, but nowadays it is different. You cannot merely put your thoughts into action. Gotabaya Rajapaksa still does not know that he cannot release people from prison according to his own whims and fancies because the president does not possess that kind of power.
තවමත් ගෝඨාභය රාජපක්ෂ මහත්මයා දන්නේ නැහැ.
And that is a wrap of primetime news for today. For the Newsfirst team, I'm Michaela Fernando.
And I'm Tarusha Kumar Singh, and we are very pleased to announce our viewers that this is the very first extended primetime news bulletin leading up to the presidential polls in 2019. And if you have missed any news items, don't forget to log on to our website www.newsfirst.lk. And I am Tarusha Kumar Singh. Have yourself a great night.